Milli, have you ever noticed how people work so hard in yoga, but they still feel uncomfortable in their bodies?
Yeah. There's strength, there's discipline, but no ease.
And we often assume that ease means collapsing or giving up.
When actually, Sukham only appears when effort is organized correctly.
So today isn't about just doing less.
It's about learning how effort dissolves into support.
And we call this Sukham Asanam. I've practiced yoga consistently for over 10 years now. And I know that the most important part of building consistency is community. Other people to hold you accountable. And second to that is a solid practice plan to help you experience the true benefits of the practice. And this is exactly why I created the App. It's a free study tool to help you learn the Sanskrit and the philosophy of yoga. Plus, it's the home to our online community, which we call Sadhana Sangha. Every single month, the team and I offer 5 practices, and I guide you through an Asana workshop as well as a subtle technique, and we translate a few lines of the Yoga Sutra together. It's honestly been my dream to create this app since I started teaching, because this is what I truly needed when I started practicing. So check it out in the show notes, or just search OMSOM in the App Store. That's OMSOM. Now, back to the episode. Welcome back to the podcast. It's called OMSOM, Yoga and Ayurveda. My name's Aaron. This is Milli. We're yoga teachers. We love yoga and we love to sit down and chat. And if you're new here, leave a comment. Tell us what your name is. We'd love to know. Just let us know. Let us know what the vibe is. There's like 5,000 of you who listen to this podcast every week, and I only ever get 1 or 2 comments.
Yeah.
So let's get
to know each other.
Can we make a theme?
Can we be friends?
Yeah, let's be friends. Please comment and tell me what you liked the most about this episode. Or just like, what did you do in yoga practice today?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just have a chat. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a story. Today's story is it's a Zen story. Now, in these stories, the Zen stories, there's always a monk who's the teacher, and then there's like a baby monk, and he's still learning. So the student comes to the teacher and he says to him, I sit every day. I hold my posture exactly as you ask me, but my body can never rest. I'm always in pain. I'm always a little bit restless. And so the teacher just takes a bowl, a cup of water, and he places it in his hands. He says, here, hold this while you sit. And so he says, don't spill it. So the student takes the bowl and he's gripping this bowl of water as tightly as he can so he doesn't spill it. But the tighter he grips, the more he starts to tremble. The more he starts to tremble, the more of that water starts to spill out over the edge. And the teacher says, now, okay, stop gripping, just trust the bowl, right? Trust that the bowl will hold the water, and all you need to do is support it. And so this student monk, he softened his grip, the water stayed, his trembling stopped, and he got to smile. Because he learned a very important lesson, and that is that your posture, your asana, is not about holding yourself together, but it's about learning when the effort is no longer needed. And in yoga, we call this Sukham. So, what is this word, Sukham? Maybe you remember the episode that Mildred and I did a couple of months ago where we spoke about Sthiram. It was in January, so maybe you don't remember it. But we were speaking about Sthiram. And Sthiram is the opposing force to this, which is Sukham. It is one of the more popular sutras from the Yoga Sutra. Sthiram, Sukham, Asanam. Sthiram means steadiness. Asanam means your seat, your posture for meditation. Sukham means pleasantness. It's the softness. It's the easefulness. It's the effortlessness. It's the comfort within your posture. Now, if we are gripping too much, if there's too much steadiness, it ends up taking away steadiness, right? Like if you squeeze your hand, the tighter you squeeze, the more movement there is. And so what we're trying to do is create this balance between that steadiness when we sit and also when we practice different asanas, we're trying to cultivate that steadiness between the steadiness and the effortlessness. But today let's talk about this effortlessness, because it really is that point, like in the story, where we just have to trust that everything will be held for us.
Yeah, and I think the side of the coin between Sthiram and Sukham that is perhaps needed more in Western society at the moment, probably. And just like modern yoga, like in the city and things like that, it's probably we need more focus on Sukham.
Yeah. More focus on that easefulness.
Yeah.
And I think because we can really just take this as an extreme, right? And that's maybe what yin yoga is. It's just the most effortless practice possible, where there's no stability. And so this is not talking about the absence of effort or the absence of stability, where you just are a puddle of flesh on the floor. But it's those two things in collaboration, right? And so it's not that there is no effort, but there is ease within your effort, and there's effort within your ease. Yes. Those two things always want to be coming together.
Always a conversation between the two. Yeah.
And so what we're talking about is that your effort is evenly distributed. And that creates the holding, the support that allows you then to let go, right? You think about like when you go to bed at night and you lay on the bed and then you let go into it because the bed is holding you, it's supporting you in that way. And so in the same way, once you get to a certain point in your asana practice, the bandhas, which we spoke about last month, those bandhas, the activations of the muscles, will allow the muscles to remain stable, but then also to let go a little bit, to soften into that asana. Yep. That doesn't mean hang out in your joints and let your ligaments take all the force. It doesn't mean start overstretching, but it means that the breath is you're not panting, you're not squeezing, you're not shaking. There's a kind of like a
fullness, but like effortless as well.
I was going to say a composure in that effort. Yeah. You become composed, and that which was once effortful becomes graceful.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's the Sukham that brings the grace to the practice.
Yeah.
Now, this is revealed within the breath, right? Yes. Because when there's effort, and it's even the way that we measure someone's fitness, is that they can do more and more and more difficult things with greater and greater amounts of ease. Yeah. Right? You see someone who is used to running for kilometers and kilometers each day, they run 100 meters and they'll still be nose breathing, they'll be perfectly composed. But someone who doesn't do any running, they run that 100 meters and they're huffing and puffing and panting and exhausted.
Yeah. And we say in yoga, if you're doing a pose and the breath does become like really vigorous in that way, it's like you've gone too far.
Yeah. That's the signal to slow down and back out, come back to a neutral position, regain yourself, and then continue on. And so it really is the breath that is the barometer of the nervous system, is what I always say. That the amount of stress that you are experiencing will always be mirrored in your breath. Yes. If there's a lot of stress and a lot of effort to remain in a specific asana, then the breath is going to become labored.
It's our teacher.
If there is ease in the breath, then we are working within our capacity. I think this is a really beautiful thing about yoga, is that it doesn't ask us to push and push and push and push to build strength. Yeah. It says just meet your edge every day and then build capacity over a long period of time. But only work within your capacity. Yeah. Don't push past it because that ends up depleting you. And then if you deplete yourself too much, you won't be able to do anything at all. You'll end up going backwards and you're just in this kind of vicious cycle. Yeah. So yoga says, no, have that steadiness, have that strength, have that effort, but also have the ease, have the sukham, have the relaxation, have the softness, have the composure, have the grace within that practice.
Yeah. I think also like with that as well, like you're saying, you push to your edge kind of every day and gradually it'll push out. I think you have to have this surrender of like, okay, yoga is going to be a lifelong practice for me, and I don't have to, perhaps, but I don't have to get there so quickly. Like, we always want to progress so quickly and chase that finish line and reach it so fast. But it's like yoga, again, says no. Like, that's not what yoga's about. Yeah, I think that's what allowed me to find ease, was just to accept that I'm going to build slow progress, but that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was one of those moments in my practice where I was like, it reframed everything for me, because I used to just go to the hot, sweaty classes.
Yeah.
And if I didn't finish the class in a puddle of sweat, I hadn't done a good yoga practice.
Yeah.
You know, I would leave and complain about the teacher because I didn't work me hard enough.
Yeah.
Treating myself like a goddamn racehorse.
Yeah.
And so when this effortlessness came into my practice, like in the beginning it was through yin yoga, and I realized, wow, there's this level of softness that I can access that feels really replenishing. And it started with extremes. And I remember really early on, I said to one of my teachers, like, I only go one of two ways. It's either really hard yoga or it's really relaxed yoga, and there's no in between. And it's so funny because I said that, and now I just
Only
hit the
in
middle.
between.
I only hit the middle.
Yeah.
There's no extremes. And that's what yoga's asking for us.
Yes.
It's asking us for the meeting point between those two.
And I think that's when your practice actually has result too. It's like, I think what changed yoga for me was like, okay, after you practice, you should feel energized, not depleted, not groggy, like just that like contentment and just, I'm like feeling good for my day. And meeting in the middle, for me, that's what brought me to that place. And that's when I knew I just found the magic of it.
Totally. I think that's like, it's an incredible realization to consider that yoga should nourish us.
Yes.
It shouldn't deplete us. It should nourish us to our core. That's its designed purpose. Well, the purpose is yoga, but yoga is inherently nourishing.
Yeah. The experience is nourishing.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what Yoga Sutra says. Obviously, Yoga Sutra says Sthiram, Sukham, Asanam. The asana should be effortless and stable. And then it says Prayatna Shaitilya Ananta Samapati Bhyam. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means through the relaxation of effort and absorption in the infinite, asana is mastered. That's Patanjali's definition for the mastery of our asana practice. Relaxation of effort and the mind absorbed in the infinite. But I think maybe the more important for this episode is the relaxation of effort. That the effort that we need to remain in the posture starts to dissolve. Yeah, we become fit, as we would say. That's it. Okay. Here's what Hatha Yoga says. It says, asana gives steadiness, health, and lightness to the body. Right? And it's the same in both of these traditions. Like in Yoga Sutra, in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, there is always this, like, there is not just push. There is also softness. Yeah. And it's kind of what makes yoga, because I think for a lot of people, they in their head map yoga up against other kinds of exercise.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. There's people on Instagram and they're just like, yoga's really bad for you. And it's like, as an exercise, but that's not its intended purpose.
Yeah.
And so as an exercise, yeah, we could say, well, maybe there are better things you could do for your body from an exercise perspective. But the purpose of yoga is not physical fitness. It's yoga. It's awareness, right? And so, yes, go and do other kinds of exercise.
Yeah.
But when you come to practice yoga, come to practice yoga. Come not to push yourself. Come without those preconceptions for exercise.
Yeah.
That you should be puffed at the end of it, or you should be building your muscles for them to be stronger very quickly, or you should have a six-pack at the end of yoga, because none of those things are true. But when you come to yoga with this idea of the Sthiram and the Sukham. See if you can come to yoga and move with a sense of effortlessness and stability simultaneously. And see if you can use that stability and effortlessness as a pathway into meditation instead of just some exercises that you're doing for your physical fitness.
Yeah.
There are, maybe like martial arts would be the exception, but there are very few other ways of moving your body in modern exercise that genuinely ask you to be relaxed whilst you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so often we go into like a stimulating environment. The music's super loud. It's banging on the drums. There's techno, bang, bang, boom, booms. And you're being told to work harder, push harder, lift heavier.
Yes.
Right? Get the sweat going, which is all Sthiram.
Yeah.
It's all to build firmness in the body. And you come to yoga and it's the opposite, a calming environment. And we say, yes, move, but do it in a way that is slow and relaxed and effortless.
Yeah.
And it's this, I think it's like this Sukham, this easefulness is ingrained in yoga. And it's maybe a trend that I've been seeing over the last couple of years, that yoga is kind of coming more toward this as a niche because Pilates has taken over what vinyasa used to be in the landscape.
Like when you say that like all these external exercises, like aside from yoga, is like, you know, push and it's all Sthiram. It's actually ironic to me because I think like, you know, even for Pilates, what I say in my classes is like, it's very much Sthiram. And same with when I go to gym and things like that. But it's almost all of them are intended to bring us into Sukham. So like when we walk out of the space, our body's healthy, our joints are good, so that we can find this like easeful life. Like even my Pilates class, I'm always like, yes, we're here for a Pilates class, but we're here to like have a healthy life afterwards, so we can walk out of the room and feel good. And it's like yoga just projects that of like, it's trying to bring us into the goal of all exercise is ease.
And that's it. And that's fitness.
Yeah.
Is like there is you can do these things that are really, really difficult with more ease.
Yes.
But I think so often we just get hung up on trying to do it so quickly.
Yeah.
That we just push too hard and we end up depleting ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we say, oh, I'm too tired to go to the gym today, so I just won't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we try and bring this level of sustainability.
Great.
Sustainability to the practice. And it's this Sukham that asks us to slow down. It's the Sukham that asks us to find the ease. It's the Sukham that gives us the sustainability in the practice without having to grip and hold and overdo things to the point where we are taking from the storehouse.
Sustainability.
Yeah. Okay. So I think on top of that, it asks us to hold the poses, right? Because if we don't hold the poses, then we don't get the opportunity to find the ease. We don't get the opportunity to find the point where it becomes difficult and then surrender within that, to soften within that, and then to find that ease of sustaining that posture. So hold your pose, just hold them, just 5-10 breaths.
Yeah.
Just a couple of the asanas that you practice. You can do your flows, go right ahead, but when you get to warrior 2, hold it for 10 breaths. Hold until you get to that point where it becomes uncomfortable, and see if you can let go of the preconceptions that exist in your mind. See if you can let go of the story of, this is too difficult, this is so hard, my body's going to give up, my shoulders are sore, all of those stories. See if you can let them go. And the moment you let the stories go, it doesn't make it any easier, but your mental relationship to it becomes easeful, right? That there could be immense difficulty, but without the mental resistance, there is ease within that.
Yeah.
There's no more resistance.
I actually think you've said it to me, and that's where I got this cue from. But I say like the mind will give up way faster than the body does. And so it's like, you know, the mind is really trying to give up. It's telling you all these stories. And then when you let that go, you find, oh, wait, the body can actually hold me here. And then you can soften into it. You trust it again.
Yeah. Get soft. We love it. We love getting soft.
Hell yeah.
All right. Off the mat.
Yeah.
It takes us into this like easeful, free, flowing kind of way of living, right? I think so often we're bracing for impact. You know, it's like you go into a social situation, you're like bracing for someone to like tell you off because you did something wrong, or you know, you're going into work,
like judge you, like criticize. Yeah.
And so it asks us to let go of that bracing for impact and just to meet the world with less resistance, so that when we meet the world, our interactions are more easeful, our conversations are more easeful, our drive to work is more easeful, our relationships are more easeful, and not just easeful but pleasant, right? It's like this shift in perception of finding the joys in life, the pleasing experiences, seeking those out instead of just like work,
Rigidity.
grind, hustle. There needs to be some sweetness in life as well. There needs to be
some
an
karma,
opportunity
some pleasure.
to really enjoy.
Okay, before we wrap up, we'll give you a question to sit with. I'll ask you, where in your practice are you holding effort longer than necessary? Sit with that, reflect on it, and leave a comment on how that shifts something for you, maybe.
Yeah. See if you can find that point where you can relax the effort, let it go, and soften it in, let go of that mental rigidity. Let us know. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Now, this is all we've got time for today, but if you want more, you better be checking out our website. We've got all sorts of things happening this year. We got 200 hours, 300 hours. 200 hour is in Sri Lanka this year. 300 hour is happening online over 7 months, and then we go to India together for 2 weeks. We've got a yoga retreat happening in Sri Lanka. I've got a couple of online trainings. I've got a 50-hour yin yoga training, 100-hour hatha yoga training, and of course our online studio where both myself and Milli are teaching classes every single month. Download the Som app, leave a comment at the bottom of this episode, follow us on Instagram, send this episode to your best friend and your mum and your yoga teacher as well. Hariom.
Hariom.